All right, welcome back to College Football Addiction, a game that we chatted a little bit about with my friend Allie P, a peek inside Gators football. We're going to talk a little bit about this Kentucky-Florida game, and I want to talk specifically about the Lagway problem that Napier has. I know Florida fans, you might tune into this, you might see all the Florida State stuff. I get it. This is not a troll. I think I've done a fairly good job on this channel, but let me know in the comments what you think about it. Of course, appreciate BetUS for their support. We'll give some love to them here in just a few minutes. I think Napier has a little bit of a problem on his hands with starting DJ Lagway in this situation. And I've seen some articles about it. I've seen some people talk about it, and I don't necessarily agree with much of what I've seen. And listen, I know Florida fans, Billy Napier is not your favorite person in the world right now. I know that you're frustrated by the way that the tenure has gone in many aspects, but outside of the obvious of just being forced to start a quarterback that probably has a little bit of a lower floor, higher ceiling than what you had. Like if Graham Mertz was playing in this game, I think I'd be riding with Florida in this. Like I'd probably pick Florida. I think it could go either way. I'm a little surprised that Florida opened up as a favorite, and it's all the way down to I think Kentucky -2 at this point over at BetUS. But I do think that it's a little bit of an issue on how Napier plays this. And there's obviously two ways you can do it. You can be pretty conservative with Lagway and not use him to the fullest, or you can go down guns blazing, swinging for the fences, not having the bat on your shoulder while you strike out on a ball that goes right down the middle of the plate or the heart of the plate. And Napier's personality, to me, screams conservative. I don't think he's risky. I don't think he takes chances. I think to the frustration of Florida fans, I don't think he really puts it all out there almost ever. And correct me if I'm wrong on that, Florida fans. I'm more than happy to have this conversation. But I don't think Napier screams one to me. Napier would have never gone for it on 4th and 1 from your own 11. And you might say Heupel's just stupid, not brave. But Napier, I think, is the antithesis of being aggressive. But when your seat is this hot, and everybody wants you gone. The boosters seem to want you gone. I'm sure the admin wants him gone too, but their situation is very difficult. The fan base, the former players, everybody wants you gone, minus the locker room, which he's done a great job of keeping together. Being conservative in that situation, to me, sounds like a absolute death warrant. I think you have to go down swinging if you're Billy Napier. And here's my thought. You've got the idea of a quarterback who was the best quarterback. I don't think that Raiola is way better than Lagway by any means. And I think the way you've seen Lagway play versus the way you've seen Raiola play, if Lagway was getting to play against some of those defenses that Raiola's played, is it crazy to think that Nebraska would be undefeated with DJ Lagway right now? I know that's not necessarily their game, but yeah, anyway. I think Lagway is the best freshman quarterback. He's got the one of the higher ceilings of any freshman quarterback that came in this year, and just an incredibly high rated player. And you've got an ability to go out with him and impact the games differently than you could with Graham Mertz by using his legs, by using his physicality, by using his massive frame. And, he's not Tim Tebow. You're not going to be asking him out there to run guys over by any means. But I think that's a side of his game that Billy Napier has to absolutely go for. I don't think he can afford to be conservative. I don't know how else to kind of put this, but I don't think you handcuff yourself while you're sitting in a seat that's on fire. I think there's probably an aspect of this that it would be even smarter for Billy Napier to fully go for it than to be conservative at all. I want to talk about that, but again, if you are watching this and you're planning on betting on the game, Kentucky a 2-point favorite right now over at BetUS. Use our code YouTube150 to get a 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit. Your next 2 deposits are at 125% each. That's all up to $2,000. Appreciate BetUS for their support. But again, do you want to handcuff yourself while you're sitting in a seat that's on fire? That wouldn't be a smart thing to do in real life, and I don't think that'd be a smart thing for Napier to do now. You can't sit there and tell DJ Lagway, in my opinion, sit back and be a pocket passer against this really good Kentucky defense, because that's exactly what Mark Stoops wants you to do. It is so hard to beat a team with a mobile quarterback, and not just a mobile quarterback, a 5-star talent that is phenomenal. mobile quarterback. And if you sit back in that conservative mindset, you probably end up losing to Kentucky. However, if you use every single advantage that you have, which is DJ Lagway's legs, it is the defense starting to play a little bit better. It is Kentucky's offense being pretty bad. It is a night game in the swamp. It's all of those things. If you use all of those advantages, you probably save yourself being fired. You probably get to the end of the year, to be very fair with you. It'll be their fourth win, and I know the gauntlet that's coming up. But if you get to your fourth win, you just need to find one more upset before you play Florida State. And then Florida State maybe is your sixth win and you save your job. Now, well, what if DJ gets hurt? What if you end up getting the kid hurt? I get it. And you certainly, both from a moral standpoint and a relationship standpoint, you don't want DJ getting hurt. You don't want to run him to death and get him hurt and then end up costing yourself the job. I understand that. But I think you can be strategic. I think you can game plan. I think you can go into this game with the threat of DJ's legs being a big part of it. The threat of him taking off and running 4 to 6 times a game will keep that defense more honest. So you don't have to run him 12 times. You don't have to be Jalen Milroe out there, but just the threat of his legs. You run him on the first drive or two, and you make Kentucky realize, like, whoa, he's not just going to Graham Mertz this thing. Okay, we got to be prepared. We got to be ready for this. And so you can't be conservative. If they're conservative with Lagway, Kentucky will win the game going away, and I think that that's probably the end of the Napier era. So why would you be conservative? Why wouldn't you let him lay it out on the line? Why wouldn't you let him run the ball, use his legs, use what is, his arm is phenomenal. Decision-making not all the way there because he's a true freshman. Let's be very fair about that. But his legs are there now. And so to not use a massive advantage that you have right now, a massive advantage in all of college football, it's a numbers game. It is a pure mathematics equation. Why would you not use that at this point? And here's certainly, the stuff with Graham Mertz sucks so bad to have season-ending injuries back-to-back years. That's brutal. I hate that so much as a football fan. But knock on wood, hope this doesn't happen. But say you beat Kentucky and you find another upset somewhere else. You beat LSU or you beat an Ole Miss team that seems up and down. And then Lagway gets hurt at some point, right? And you had 5 wins with Lagway, but then he got hurt, or maybe you played Georgia super close and you lost close there, but it was because Lagway was out there running and making plays and things like that. And then he gets hurt. That might even, if you're Billy Napier, and I know Florida fans aren't going to love this, but that might even, if you're Billy Napier, be enough to spin, hey, we had things rolling under Lagway. We beat Kentucky at home as an underdog. We were competitive with Georgia. We were competitive with Texas, although I don't know if anybody's going to be competitive with Texas this year. We played really well against Ole Miss. We upset LSU, whatever the situation is. If you've done that, and then let's say he does get hurt, and you're saying, oh man, he's hurt. Now I'm definitely getting fired. I don't know. If they get to 5-7 and Lagway looks like the truth and there's a lot of optimism there and they're playing really well, let's say they beat Kentucky and they play Georgia and LSU and Ole Miss close and they beat Florida State, there might be enough optimism to keep him at that point. However, if they make him pocket pass the entire rest of the year, I don't know they beat anybody. Now, I'd still pick them in the Florida State game just because I think that team looks like an absolute dumpster fire at this moment. But who's to say that would even work then? And so if I'm Billy Napier, there's no chance that I'm being conservative with this. Now, do I want DJ to get hurt? Absolutely not. More probably because he loves DJ Lagway as a person than wanting to save his job. But he probably doesn't want DJ to get hurt one way or the other. But you can't just go the conservative route. And I know Billy seems like the kind of guy that goes the conservative route. Running a sweep on 4th and inches, a quarterback sneak with, Graham Mertz, not going for the 2-point conversion, whatever the situation. Billy doesn't seem like a super aggressive, go for it type guy. But this has to be where he stops doing that. This has to be where he says, I am going to go for it. I am going to lay it on the line because my job is on the line. And again, I think if you beat Kentucky, if they beat Kentucky, and then they're competitive with Georgia, and let's say Lagway goes down against Texas, right? Something happens, and they lose out because who knows who nobody can even name Florida's backup at that point. No disrespect to the kid there. Are they really holding that against you? The way that you looked, are they really going to say, you're out? Maybe. They might have him get out, but I think that it probably looks better for you either way. Let me know your thoughts, Florida fans. I really want to hear from you on this. I know it's a tough situation for Florida fans because you never want to lose a game. You're not cheering for your team to lose, and you want Lagway to come out and look like the truth, both running and throwing the ball. But at the same time, you certainly don't want the coach to be back next year, most of you that I've seen in the comments. And so it's a weird situation for Florida fans, but if you beat Kentucky as an underdog, and then you look competitive against Georgia, and then you just don't lose by 30 like Oklahoma did to Texas on the road, is that enough to maybe say, wait, maybe the staff isn't as bad as we thought they were? Maybe they just needed to put the talented kid in, right? Again, no shots at Graham Mertz. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I do want to hear from you on this. It will be a disgrace, and Napier will need to go if he goes the conservative route. I don't see a path to Florida winning this thing, being conservative. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe we'll get back on here on Sunday or Monday and say, well, we blew it. Napier, Lagway was able to stay back in the pocket and just be a pocket passer. I don't know about doing that against this Kentucky defense, but we'll see. I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments. I appreciate you guys for tuning in, listening to an FSU fan rant about this. Make no bones about it. Try to be pretty objective, but I would love to hear your thoughts on this weekend. Do you think that Florida can pull it off? I think they can pull it off if they run Lagway, if they use him the way that he should be used. You got nothing to hold back. This is your last bullet in the chamber. Don't leave it there if you're Billy Napier. Maybe if you hate Napier enough, you want him to leave it there and just get him out and hope Lagway sticks around for next year. But if I'm Napier, there's no way that I'm going conservative here. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Let me know what you think happens on Saturday night in the Swamp, 7:45 kickoff. Appreciate BetUS again for their support. We will talk to you guys soon here on College Football Addiction.